here. What's going on, party people? Clutch Cinema Talk, and we are beginning a new series. Now, I hear you, all of you yelling, oh, there's so many series. You know what? Well, shut up. I can have as many series as I want to, baby. And in this one, we are doing a little segment I like to call Old versus New, where we will take old titles or original movies and compare them with their remake counterparts. So, for example, like in this movie, we're going to be doing, in this episode, we're going to be doing Poltergeist from 1982, the original version, and Poltergeist from 2015. And in the future, we'll do other titles such as, the Magnificent Seven, and Annie, and Pet Sematary, and all that jazz. You like jazz, though, right? Poltergeist on this episode of Old versus New. Poltergeist, for those of you who don't know, and there's going to be spoilers for every single movie I talk about in this series, obviously, to compare. Poltergeist is the story of a family who just moved into this new house, and there's some weird things going on, stuff moving around, and the little daughter goes missing inside the house. What? So there's a little poltergeist going on in the house. That's the little gist about it. The biggest comparison between the 1982 and 2015. And also, I will tell you my verdict on which one is better at the end of the video, as we'll go through some specific categories and compare them. Now, the biggest difference between the two is, well, obviously, with horror movies, you can see the old movies use more practical effects and really work with what they got. And in the newer ones, you got a lot of, CGI and jump scares galore and all that greatness. The thing about the 1982, that's what I said, right? 1982 Poltergeist is that not like constantly scared and horrified about what's going on in your house. It's more of like a wonder, like why, what is going on, why it's going on. I'm like, holy shit, I don't like any of this. No, because first of all, in the 1982 one, when it began, one of the first happenings going on in the house is when the chairs they stack up all up on themselves. If I saw that, I'd be nope, out of there, out of there, in my underwear. You know what I mean? I would have never came back. I don't care. I would bring the whole armada of priests from Rome and just dump that house in holy water. But in movies, or in this one specifically, there's more. The mom is kind of trying to figure out what's going on and playing with it as if it was something, with a reasonable answer, like gravity, right? Gravity's a reasonable answer. We don't specifically get it, but it's a thing, like it just happens. Whoop. So as the scares go in the 1982 version is not all up in your face. It's more of like an unsettling kind of vibe, where in the 2015 version, there's constant, setting up with this little suspense. Ooh, people going, slowly looking around, what's going on, and then hitting you with a predictable jump scare. And it's like, whoa, you got me, you got me. But then you forget about it right after. Whereas, like, in the original one, it's more things that kind of linger with you. But the 2015 jump scares, they just don't do it to me. They don't. For an example, the clown attack scene, I think, was done way better in the 1982 version than in the 2015 version with the keeping it all in the dark or whatever. But yeah, acting wise, this kind of goes for the more general plot of the movie. The 1982 version does a very, very great job in establishing that this is a family and that they love and care for each other, and they're going to do whatever it takes to keep them protected, And I think the reason why it does a great job in it, as unlike the 2015 one, is they spend a lot of time in the first third or even first half of the movie building up that family relationship and showing how this family connects. Where in the 2015 one, they kind of start jumping into the suspense and trying to lay down the groundwork like it's a horror movie. Like, yo, listen, we get it's a horror movie, all right? We get it, bro. We get it. But I just didn't feel the same connection from the family in the 2015 version than the 1982 version. And the family's connection, it's strong throughout the movie, and that way toward the end of the movie you're kind of rooting for them to get out of there, and you're rooting for the mom or the son or whoever it is down the line. When the 2015 movie, it's like I don't feel a connection with these characters. I don't feel like I should be rooting for them. Things are just happening just to happen. Alright, so general changes between the 1982 and 2015 that you noticed, for the most part, is completely the same story. Completely the same story. The only big little difference is in the original version, you don't find out that the house was built on an old cemetery and that the bodies were moved until really late in the movie, and it does serve as a pretty cool twist. It's like, oh, they didn't move the bodies. Goddamn real estate agents, man. I know it's not them who actually move it, but in the 2015 version, they kind of reveal it midway, and I guess seeing the first one and then seeing the second one, it just didn't. It felt kind of cheap. It felt like it wasn't that cool of a twist when you find out later on. It's like, okay, that's what it is now. All right, whatever. One change I noticed, and I guess they didn't really want to redo it, was in the original, Zelda Rubinstein's character, Tangina Barons, was one of the best parts about that movie. She was such an interesting character, and her whole, Lorraine Warren kind of thing going, like knowing all this supernatural stuff and everything, and her performance, it made it cool because she was so mysterious. It was like at one point she's going, don't go into the light, but then yes, go into the light, and don't go into the light. It's like, whose side is she on, right? And then her whole confidence, like, it's clean, the house is clean, and it wasn't. She was just a great character, and it was every single second of her on screen was awesome. And then in the new one, you get this Irish Captain Ahab guy who's got scars and everything from past things. It just didn't have the same charm. It just didn't have that same charm to it. It was too, trying to keep it on like the more mysterious kind of genre, I guess. I don't know, because if you watch both two movies, you can conclude that the older version is more of a I want to say family friendly, even though it could scare some smaller children. It was rated PG when it came out, and the new one is more of like a PG-13 kind of, horror, kind of like borderline, like super scary. It's like borderline, just in your face jumping in this and like that. So it does have those kind of two different feels. Now, as far as the age difference, the 1982, when you rewatch it, there's a lot of things that are dated now, and it really shows up today, like especially the part where at the beginning when the TVs are connected and the remote changes both of those. That's a fun gag. Super old. I don't know, does it happen today? I don't know. Listen, it'll never happen to me. It doesn't happen, so I don't know. There's a part in the 82 version where the girl is getting like catcalled by the people who are working on the guard or on the pool in the back, and it's like, and then the mom laughs it off, and I'm just watching it like, hey, wow, it's casual harassment. 80s were fun, weren't they? With the new version, obviously there's a lot of updates, especially the main updated aspect was the use of the little drone, where the Sam Rockwell, the dad, buys his son a drone, and then they use the drone later on to go into the Upside Down, which I'm gonna call. And with the introduction of technology, I guess they're like, hey, we can use CG to make absolutely anything we want. And with the drone, they use the drone to go into the little upside down place, which they didn't do in the original. And I didn't like it because the thing about the little unknown world is, in the 82 version, you didn't know anything about it. All you knew about it was another dimension, and there's some red glob jello stuff, because that's what they use as the effect for when the mom and the daughter come back. And that there's a whole bunch of ghosts and everything like that. But in the new version, they actually show the other side, and it's like a opposite realm where there's just hands all over the place. Everything is all touchy, and it's all dark and everything. And it doesn't leave anything up to your imagination, which is why I always liked horror movies that just don't put it all up in your face, because you imagine and you create the horror instead of the movie creating it for you, where then you could see exactly what it is, where in your mind it's just speculation and using the context clues from the movie to draw a horrifying place for yourself and for everyone individually. That's the way I perceived it. So I kind of skewed from the outdated, but the use of the CGI in this I did not really appreciate compared to the practical effects and the more of leave up to your imagination part of the older Poltergeist. And one thing that they changed from the older one to the new one, which I thought was one of the best scenes, obviously the second haunting Poltergeist thing, the escape from the house at the end when they realized that it's still haunted. In the old one, they had the great plot device of the pool still being renovated, and the scene where just the bodies are popping out in the water, and it's like you don't need the CG to make something just feel so suspenseful and just like chaotic at the same time. It's just bodies just plopping up while she's trying to get out the muddy pool. And where in the new one, it's you know what? I don't even remember what that second part was. I don't remember. I don't remember now that I think about it. That's kind of weird, but it was just scenes like that, just using less is more, and that's the kind of way I liked in horror movies, which is why Halloween is one of my favorite horror movies. The less is more approach, and it really dives into you and makes you generate your own scares. So, in overall entertainment and an overall conclusion, the 1982 Poltergeist is still classic. It is still superior overall. It is fun, it is suspenseful, and despite having maybe outdated effects that might not get everyone, it's still a fun movie, and it's a great movie to just put on. Just a blast from the past. The 2015 version, it's as many of these remakes that we probably will go over, is just an attempt to up the ante with rush suspenses and predictable jump scares that are trying to make the original scenes even more scary and trying to bring back the old feel for newer audiences, which it fails. It fails in doing that. Is it overall a bad movie? It's not an overall bad movie. It's just not as good as the original. I highly suggest watching the original before anything else if you're going to enjoy this. And another thing that many people don't know, Poltergeist is maybe one of the main well, maybe not direct inspiration, but the Conjuring of today, one of the golden egg of horror movie. I couldn't think of a better metaphor of horror movies today, is very similar to Poltergeist, with the whole family aspect and trying to get away from the house. Different little things in it, but that's the best similarity I can draw. The Conjuring and Poltergeist. Not the new Poltergeist, the older one. And not as scary. So, Poltergeist 1982 is better than its 2015 remake. Do you agree? Which one of the two do you like? Which is the more iconic scene from either of them? Which one's got you? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any suggestions for old versus new, any remakes you want me to compare with its originals, let me know down below. This has been Old versus New on Clutch Cinema Talk. So, until next time, I will catch you in the next video. Hope you enjoyed this, and leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'll catch y'all later. Alright, y'all. Deuces. Yer.